recommended so many good books on BookTok, but as soon as I close the app, I immediately forget and never actually get around to reading any of them. And it really started to bother me because I trust the book girlies with my life. And I do really want to read their recommendations. So I'm gonna let BookTok pick my TBR for the next week. I'm literally gonna read the first thing I get recommended when I open the app. BookTok, my reading fate is in your hands. All right, let's get comfortable, see what BookTok recommends. We're going with the first books it recommends me, okay? All right, let's see. Hunger Games edit. Jonathan Bailey edit. Okay, sue me. Benson Boone. What is my TikTok For You page right now?
Let's go through some of my 6-star reads.
Okay, I got some book recs.
I think this is one of Sarah's best books, probably top 3 as far as writing goes. I have read this book 5 times and I will continue to read this book forever.
Okay, we've got one, Crescent City. Obviously, Sarah J. Maas is like the biggest fantasy author ever at the moment. And Crescent City is the one series of hers that I haven't read. Maybe it's time I get into it. I got it, and it's huge. Needless to say, it's been a little daunting, but the recommendation was really good, and there's so many girls on BookTok that rave about this book. And also, I have heard through a grapevine that this series has an Akatar cameo. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm convinced. It's time. Okay, yeah, I have laundry over there. Don't look at it. Anyway, I got through part 1. I've been listening to the audiobook along with it, and I just love Sarah J. Maas. Her writing just feels so comforting to me, even with the world building, because there's a lot of information that happens in this first 100 pages. It's like a lot of world building, but her writing just makes it so, it's just easy. I'm like, yep, I'm listening. I get it, sure. Really, the information I've gotten so far is the FMC is Bryce. She is really badass. She's like seen as this college party girl, goes to the club, does drugs, is drinking, partying, but she's also really, really, really cool and like kind of a man-hater, which I really love. She reminds me a lot of my best friend, Madi, and I think that's really sweet. Bryce is half fae, half human, and we meet her best friend, Danica. Danica is a shifter, like a werewolf type creature, and then we get the MMC Hunt, who isn't super involved in this yet, but I know he will be. I've seen him all over the place. I know he's the love interest, and he's this fallen angel, brooding guy. He's really grumpy, but also is like a servant to the Asteri, which is like their political powers, I guess, which are other angels. But Hunt is like a fallen angel, which is okay. I don't understand the political hierarchies yet, but I'm not questioning it. I'm also picking up on the fact that Bryce, my girl Bryce, has a lot of baggage. She's struggling, but she's got Danica, and that makes it all better because they're best friends. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I do love their friendship. If you haven't read it, it gets heavy pretty quick, so keep that in mind. BookTok is saying that this book is a marathon, not a sprint. So I'm in it for the long haul. This is 800 pages. And do I understand everything that's going on? No! But there's a brooding fallen angel named Hunt. Guys, I'm halfway. Well, a little bit less than halfway. I'm at part 3, The Canyon, 366 pages in. This has been an emotional roller coaster. Sarah J. Maas really likes to just whip you around, make you crazy. Sorry, I'll compose myself. The laundry hasn't been done. When was there time to do laundry? So the storyline has picked up, obviously, and I'm getting introduced to a lot of new characters. Some of them are getting like, you get like a reminder of who's who, which I really appreciate, especially in the beginning of a fantasy series. And it's got this murder mystery vibe going on. Again, I won't spoil anything, but it's devastating. Basically, Bryce and Hunt are trying to figure out who this murderer is. Hunt has been assigned to basically be her bodyguard while they do this task for their Asteri angel government. It's not necessarily an enemies to lovers, but there is forced proximity. A lot of forced proximity. And Bryce is really stubborn and really difficult, and that's so funny to watch Hunt deal with. I don't know, forced proximity is just one of my favorite tropes of all time. I love it. I eat it up. I will also say that the fact that it's kind of like a modern fantasy world has really grown on me. I feel like it kind of makes Bryce more badass. And her little side character, she has a little pet thing that originally reading about it, I thought it was like a cat named Syrinx, not sure. But then upon looking at fan art, because yes, I was looking up fan art, specifically Bryce and Hunt, I needed to know. I needed to see it. Apparently it's not a cat. It's like a dog, lion, pug thing. It also seems like there's kind of a war building. And listen, do I fully understand the political hierarchy going on in this world? No. Do I know who's really in charge of things? Not really. But I trust Sarah J. Maas with my life. I'm having a great time. Okay? I don't have to know everything. If it's important enough, I'll get reminded. Hopefully. I finished Crescent City. 799 pages in 72 hours. That was quite a ride. Sarah J. Maas really knows how to put you through the ringer. I am speechless. What an incredible book. I had my heart ripped out and put together about 1 million times in this book. Right when I was like, oh, this is what's happening? It was like, actually, no. Worse. Felt like I was asking Sarah J. Maas to run me over with a car. Repeatedly. Yes, it's got romance in it. Yes, it's like fantasy and it's building up for bigger plots to happen in books 2 and 3. But I personally believe at its core, this is a story about female friendship. And it is so, no, I'm chill. We're so chill. The love story is also really good, okay? Hunt is incredible, super hot, sexy, obviously. Fallen Angel, hot. I'm excited to get some more because this was forced proximity, but brother, was it a slow burn. I thought it was very funny that Bryce just keeps doing the opposite of what she's told. Hilarious. Man-hater. Hilarious. And when it comes to her and Danica, it's like that trend where it's like, were they lovers? Worse. I rated it 4.5 stars. Literally, I probably should go back and rate it 4.8 or 4.9. Because that one little tiny bit of just like the first 100 pages, if I was not such a devout Sarah J. Maas fan, I think I would have been a little bit like, whoa, that's a lot of information. But I trust Sarah J. Maas so much that I was like, all right, yeah, sure, okay. However, here's my dilemma. I told myself I was gonna keep reading my recommendations and not jump to my other TBR. So that means I have to put this down and pick up the next book I was recommended. Flashback to when I got recommended this next book. I literally did one scroll and it was already another book rec. Before you pages learning.
Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. Toxic lesbian vampires. The 3 girls in this book are just unhinged and amazing, and you will love it. I spent the whole book rooting for them, despite them kind of sort of maybe being the bad guys. They're morally gray.
Okay, wait. Should I go with that one?
Yes.
Oh, TikTok has spoken. I think I'm gonna go with that one. I'm excited. The recommendation was Morally Gray Lesbian Witches. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. That's a hell of a recommendation. I know it follows 3 different women. It follows Maria, Alice, and Lottie, and they all take place at a different time period. I know that it's very feminist coded, and I kind of like the concept of the women being the morally gray ones. V.E. Schwab really loves to do like historical jumping back and forth and just flipping through the pages. That's kind of what this looks like. It's got multiple POVs. Interesting. I don't know. I feel like this might be crazy. halfway through Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. I've got some thoughts. I'm literally still in my pajamas because all I've done today is read and do laundry. Basically, this book took a big old turn about 125 pages in. I was confused. I was reading a lot of Maria's point of view. Maria was very confused, but her character is still really like feisty and intense, and like definitely the feminist side is very Maria. But then we were swapping back and forth between her and Alice, who is a college student in 2019. She's really insecure and really shy and trying to make friends. Lottie is the third girl in the story, and we haven't gotten her point of view since the prologue. They definitely all have some type of supernatural ability. That's all I'm gonna say without spoiling. Maria learned how to use hers very quickly. Alice, very unsure. And Lottie, still MIA. We're actually not sure what's happening with Lottie at all. I don't know, it reads a lot like Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab in the way that it's jumping back and forth between historical time periods. However, there's not like a super clear storyline. I don't know, right now it kind of feels like, what's the point? What's happening, you know? Once we figure out the Lottie situation, maybe things will start to kind of puzzle piece together. If I was not interested in any of the history stuff and the time period jumping, I think I would be very checked out of this. I'm gonna try to finish this though before the sun goes down, and I'll let you know final thoughts. I finished it. On the back it says, 3 young women, their bodies planted in the same soil, their stories tangling like roots. One grows high, one grows deep, one grows wild, and all of them grow teeth. That's actually kind of accurate. So I'm gonna start with the things that I liked, and then we'll get into like my final thoughts of it. About halfway in, a little bit over halfway in, I did get Lottie's POV. Lottie lands in London in the 1800s, so like Bridgerton era, which is why I really liked her storyline. She was also my favorite girl of the 3. Each woman kind of has her own like purpose, like her own story arc. Maria wanted freedom, makes sense. In the 1500s, women didn't have a lot of that. Lottie wanted love, except she's a lesbian, tough life. Alice in 2019 in Boston wants more time. She's feeling like she's just waiting for her life to start. And overall, the vibes of this book were really good. I really like V.E. Schwab's writing. It's very effortless, kind of. On to some of the things I didn't like so much. It just really wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. All of the plot lines did get all rounded out, which was really nice. All of the things interconnected. I do think that Lottie's storyline showing up to connect the pieces like halfway in was a little bit late. This is not a very plot-driven book. It does cover a lot of themes around morality and what it means to live versus to just be alive for a long time. And I do really like those themes. It was very similar in Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which I saw in a lot of reviews that people were comparing the two. And then the ending of the book kind of felt like this whole story. It's a 500-page book, and it was 450 pages of build up, build up, build up. And then in the last 50 pages, it just like all wrapped up really quickly. It just felt kind of like dead end. Out of all the people that these 3 women met collectively through their own stories and together, all of their friends are like way cooler. I feel like this book had a really big chance to be really cool, and the ending just kind of fell flat to me. I just felt underwhelmed. And I rated it 3.5 stars, which is super disappointing because I really wanted to like this book. I am ready to get my next book. Okay, maybe here's something. Oh wait, my screen wasn't recording. Chat, does this count as a book rec? Not to brag, I'm about to read Once Upon a Broken Heart for the first time. Okay, I mean, I've heard that it's gut-wrenching though. I don't know if I want to put myself through that. And this one only has 12 likes. This wasn't even like a viral one. This one just got sent to me. It might not have been legitimate, hey, you need to read this recommendation, but the amount of times that this book showed up on my For You page feels like fate. I have been wanting to read this series so bad. It is the epitome of like, I see it all over BookTok and I'm like, oh, I need to read that. Oh, I need to read that. Turns around for a second. What book? So I'm reading it. I'm so excited. It is technically like a spin-off to the Caraval series. There is a Morley Gray character in Caraval named Jax. This is his book. This is his book. This is his story. This is his story. And I'm really excited about it. The magic world in this is kind of like tarot card-esque. He's Jax the Prince of Hearts or something. And he is a fate, just like it's fate that this book kept showing up on my For You page. I mean, it's called Once Upon a Broken Heart. Come on! Yes! Yes! I'm so excited to read this. Oh my gosh, I have read half of this in literally one sitting. It is so easy to read. I love Stephanie Garber so much, and I feel really good going from something so dark to like, a little more slutty. The storyline takes place like 3 weeks after the ending of all the events in the Caraval series, which I highly recommend reading first, but a lot of people read this series first. You don't necessarily have to read Caraval first. But it helps with the backstory and like you don't have to worry about the world building, which I think is why I was able to read most of this so quickly, is because I already knew the magic system going on. The FMC is Evangeline Fox. She's this really cute girl. She's an orphan and has like an evil stepmother type situation. And she feels like she's drawn to a lot of like magical things. But when her boyfriend goes off to marry her stepsister, she gets very upset and goes to try to make a deal with the Prince of Hearts. He's a fate, so it's like their version of like a god. He's not a human, but he's really sexy hot. He's really sexy hot. But obviously her deal with the fate backfires, and now she's indebted to him. But in classic Stephanie Garber fashion, you don't really know who to trust. Everything's a whole big mystery. Everything's very open-ended. And overall, I am obsessed with this. I think it's so good. And again, did I mention Jax is sexy hot? Did I say that yet? There really is something about a YA romance or romantasy that is so fun to read. They make me feel crazier sometimes than the like for real, like smutty adult fantasies. Nothing super smutty going on in this, but it's so tension heavy and there's forced proximity and Jax is very morally gray. Between this, Caraval, the Alchemy of Secrets series that she just started, I really think Stephanie Garber is gearing up to be one of my favorite authors. I finished this book so fast. I feel crazy. I thought I was crazy about the Caraval series. This, oh my God. Now I understand why everybody talks about this one so much on BookTok. 3 words. Prince of Hearts. Jax! And I don't know what his motives are. I really don't. This book ends extremely open-ended. I may or may not have already bought the second one. Listen, okay? I opened it a little bit yesterday and then I ordered it. Sue me! The mystery, the fantasy, the romance. Almost like it's like a Disney romance, but like twisted. That's like the kind of magicalness that this feels like. There's a wedding scene and the wedding is in this like ornate ice castle. I'm literally picturing like Elsa's castle. But it's also like there's death and there's betrayals and all of these things. And the fates are like kind of evil, kind of good. Everybody's making deals with everybody. It's kind of like deals with the devil. Watching Evangeline, she's such a romantic and she just wants this like happy ending and to believe in all this magic stuff. And I love her so much. Stephanie Garber, what have you done to me? Truly. What did you put into Jax? Drugs? You put drugs in there? I will say, I rated it 4.8 stars. only because at the very, very end, there's like a little romance thing that I thought was about to happen and then it didn't happen, and I felt very frustrated by that. But that is literally just a personal preference, and I'm trying to be more strict on my 5-star ratings. However, I can see this being a 5-star series for sure. And honestly, even though I didn't love Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, overall, between Crescent City and Once Upon a Broken Heart, this was so successful. Listen, I've got to go immediately. I need to know what happens in this one. To my BookTok girlies, I truly don't know where I would be without you.